Hello and welcome back on the show. This week's topic is on to what extent people should depend on others. On today's episode, we will be exploring the aspect of alternative schooling. In this case, unschooling. I will be interviewing a family who practices this form of education, and let's see what they have to say about it. It's kind of a controversial subject, so we'll see how this goes. This is the Donald family. Hi, I'm Trisha from Fox News. I'm here for the interview.
Oh, hi. Hi, how are you?
Great.
Oh, yes, I'm Mara Donald. How are you? Yes.
I'm great.
Yes, come on in.
Did you need a few minutes to get ready?
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm just coming back from church.
Oh, of course. Where would you like the interview to take place?
Right in the living room is fine.
Okay, just here. I'm just gonna set up my things because my cameraman's on duty, so...
Okay.
I have to...
Timothy!
Hi everyone and welcome to the show. So today we are with the Donald family. This is Mara Donald and... Who might this be?
Timothy.
Oh, right, Timothy.
Donald.
Timothy Donald.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
It's a pleasure. Oh, nice. Very, very nice to meet you. So to start off, I just want to hear, in your own words of course, what you think unschooling is.
Well, to me, it's when parents don't want to enroll their students into a school because they believe that, their child is better off without the curriculum that the school gives.
Interestingly put. Just to make it clear to our listeners, I'm just going to give you and read the definition, the real definition of what unschooling is so we can fully grasp the concept here. Unschooling is an educational method and philosophy that rejects compulsory school as a primary means for learning.
Okay.
You agree? You agree with this?
I agree. Yeah.
It's a good start. So now, I'd like to ask Mara a few questions if you don't mind. Why did you choose unschooling over traditional schooling, and when did you start with this practice?
Well, as I got older, I realized that kids, they have different ways of learning, and they need, some are slow, some are fast, but they go at their own pace, right? So I decided to give my child that chance to go at his own pace. And, in preschool he was bullied on the first day, so that was when my husband and we just said no.
You took him out after that. Okay. Right, so now, this might sound offensive, but do you believe you are qualified to give him a quality education that he deserves?
Well, if you think about it, it's not me that teaches him, it's him who's curious about the world and teaches himself.
Like with this, for example.
Of course.
Knitting. Of course, because that's the whole purpose of unschooling, isn't it? Leading from that statement, though, do you believe that your child is at the same level of comprehension as, per se, a regular child at the local high school?
Well, actually, I believe that he's even higher in mind and spirit because he knows more about the world and outside. When children in schools, they just know about what's in the textbooks and, in the classroom. If you were to ask Timothy a question about the world, he would answer it. But, students, in classrooms, they can't bring their knowledge outside of those classrooms.
That may be true, but what they learn can almost always guarantee a successful path of some sort, whether it be by attending a higher level education, for example, college or university, or getting a good paying job because they, unlike your child Timothy here, actually have a high school diploma. Now, in light of that, Timothy, how do you think this education you're receiving will affect your future?
Well, I think that I get to specialize in things that I really like, and that'll help me more than doing things like math or science, which I don't really need.
You say that, but how do you even expect to get a job if you don't have a high school diploma? Let's be real here. And anyway, what are your passions and how are you learning about them and developing them in the first place?
Well, as you can see, I love knitting.
That's very clear to me. How
And-
long ago did you start that process?
Well, I've started the past couple months, and as you can see, I've already knit up a blanket and my clothes, and I've learned through watching videos and tutorials of how to knit. See?
It's great. I noticed that you enjoy self-exploration. Mara, back to you. How has unschooling Timothy affected you as a person?
Well, I believe that a mother's job is to take care of her child and to always be there for her child and never let that child down. And, all your time should go to your child.
All your time? Are you saying that you have no life outside of watching your child's attempts to learn his way through life?
Oh goodness, not at all. I have this neighbor down the street and she brings me pies. And sometimes on Wednesdays we go out to bingo. Well, of course, after Timothy's asleep.
Look, Mom, it's like spaghetti.
That leads me to my next question, though. How is it that you can afford spending most of your time essentially babysitting your 16-year-old son? Don't you have to be wealthy to be able to unschool a child like that?
Well, of course it takes a solid foundation to be able to unschool your child because, you know what, it takes a lot of work. But since my husband is still working and before being a stay-at-home mom, I had a high-paying job, well, we're able to afford the basic needs.
Right, which shows us that not everyone can practice unschooling. Timothy, what's your opinion on the education system in our province right now?
Well, I don't really know much about it, so I don't think I can make an opinion.
Okay, but you must get bored sometimes of staying at home with only your mom to keep you company. Do you ever wish you could have experienced what school is like?
Well, sometimes I wish I'd had more friends my age, but with them being so busy at school,
But honey, you do have friends. You go to the park. The kids at the park. You're friends with them, right?
Well, there's no kids at the park because they're all at school, and they're all friends with kids at school. They don't have time for a kid like me.
What do you do all day, Timothy?
Well, as I knit, I like to read sometimes, and sometimes we go on little trips and to the zoo, and it helps me to develop myself and to find new things that interest me.
That sounds awfully productive. Mara, how do you know that your son is actually learning anything? Like, do you ever test him to see how knowledgeable he is? I'm hoping that after 16 years he might have actually acquired some wisdom.
Well, of course I test him, but the grades don't matter. They're only for me to see if he's improving or not.
Right, grades don't matter. Interesting. But seeing that you don't have a curriculum, you can't expect him to know the basics, for example, math. So I'm assuming you test him on a subject he's passionate about, leaving everything else unknown to him. Do you believe that all kids should be unschooled?
No. Obviously, a parent knows her child or his child, depending on the sex. But, if you don't think your child is fit for unschooling, or if you're unfit for unschooling, then it's your choice. But for me, unschooling has really worked out in our lives, and I'm happy about my decision.
So it's safe to say that you believe there's still a point in having the school system in place.
Of course, it's just not for me, us.
Right. Fair enough. Although you realize that the provincial government is cracking down on people like you who avoid the school system, right? The authorities have to enforce our rights, one of them being the right to education, and by letting the child choose what he learns, there's no way of knowing if that child is getting the quality education he is entitled to. Now, on that note, I wish you and your son the very best of luck. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, honey, that woman, she raised a couple questions, and, I am wondering if you do have the required education. So can I test you?
Uh-huh.
What's 9 plus 9?
Barack Obama.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay.